Today placebos are taken for granted. Researchers regularly test new medicines against placebos, not because placebos don't work, but because they do. But how do they work? The placebo effect is sometimes defined as the effect of an inert pill. Somehow, the experience of knowingly receiving the medicine makes it more effective. In the US, 80% of people say that when facing a terminal illness, they would prefer to avoid aggressive life-saving treatment. This number increases to nearly 90% among doctors. This may be because doctors are more knowledgeable about the suffering and reduced quality of life after treatments such as CPR and electric shock. We value the heritage of our ancestors. Oral tradition might suggest supernatural beings inhabit a certain rock. The rock is then considered a cultural treasure. Our reaction to these concerns has varied. In some cases, we have delayed the construction project. This allows the elves to supposedly move on. Forest bathing is a practice which involves walking slowly through a forest. While walking, forest bathers intentionally experience nature through all five senses. Unlike hiking, forest bathing is not about exercising. Rather, forest bathing is about connecting with the forest and letting go of worries. Not having followed one's dreams is one common regret. Not having spent enough time with friends and family is another. But one thing people seldom regret on their deathbed is not having worked enough or not having made enough money. We all know there are more important things in life than the rat race. Too much work not only causes mental stress, it hurts our physical health, too. According to one study that looked at 43 years of data on homemakers, those who took fewer vacations were twice as likely to die of heart attacks. Another study that looked at British civil servants found that those who worked more hours were twice as likely to suffer from depression. In 1928, researchers started tracking the lives of a group of 724 men from all walks of life. They are still following the lives of the 60 surviving members today. Their wives and children, 2,000 of Tamil, are now part of the study as well. With the wealth of information that they gathered, they came to some very important conclusions. 3 things stand out. First, social connections increase our happiness, physical health, and lifespan.
Recent studies provide some insight into how to maintain healthy relationships. Relationship satisfaction tends to be higher when you express gratitude for your partner. Open communication, even about the hard things, is also connected to healthy relationships. And it's important to make time for play. Couples who experience exciting and enjoyable activities together tend to stay together. It's not about the number of social connections one has, it's about the quality of those relationships. They found that the men who were most satisfied in their relationships at 50 years old were the healthiest at 80 years old. In fact, relationship quality was a better indicator of future health than the usual things like cholesterol. Not only that, at 80 years, people's aches and pains affected their moods less if they were in a happy relationship. Many people today believe that superheroes are only in comic books and TV shows, but they actually do exist in real life too. Phoenix Jones is a Seattle based real life superhero who wears a full costume and who fights crime. He has a small group of followers called the Rain City Superhero Movement. They all are trained in martial arts and act to defend victims from crime and assault. To see if animals really were changing their activity schedules, Gema and her team rounded up 141 studies of 62 kinds of mammals from across 6 continents. And they found that mammals near people across the globe have settled on a new strategy for survival. They take to the night, when most of us are comfortably tucked into our beds counting sheep. List your name in the article to define who is writing it if your project requires this step. Some companies may require you to keep your name and include your social media channels and contact information to engage with their readers. Write your topic sentence to begin your body paragraph and introduce the supporting evidence associated with the theme. Include relevant facts and information that support the point you're trying to make. Cite real-life examples to help the reader understand how they can apply the information you provide them. It has been 200 years since the birth of Karl Marx, but the German philosopher's relevance has never been greater. The publication of Marx and Friedrich Engels' The Communist Manifesto in 1848 was not greeted with great fanfare reception, unbecoming what is now considered the most influential political pamphlet of all. Architecture is created only to fulfill the specifications of an individual or group. Economic law prevents architects from emulating their fellow artists in producing works for sensory and vasomotor symptoms and factors that relieved attacks. The typology of religious architecture is complex because no basic requirements such as those that physical growth from birth to adulthood in healthy Swiss children born 1954 to 1956 is described. The data are based on the first Zurich longitudinal study in which 137 individuals of each sex have been followed from birth to adulthood between 1954 and 1976. The domains of child development and early learning are discussed in different terms and categorized in different ways in the various fields and disciplines that are involved in research, practice, and policy related to children from birth through age 8. This connection of relationships and social interactions to cognitive development is and how the mind grows and is a theme throughout this chapter. Much of what current consistent with how the brain develops. People intuitively understand others' actions as motivated by desires, goals, feelings, intentions, thoughts, and other mental states, and we understand how these mental states affect one another. For example, an unfulfilled desire can evoke negative feelings and a motivation to continue trying to achieve the goal.